covering all your favorite parts of the 50-yard fight. This is the Inside the Walls podcast with Zach Kyleman and Jim Mernier.
Sure, man.
Knock this bad boy out. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcoming everyone to the latest edition of the Inside the Walls podcast. Zach Kyleman here at the host chair, as always, alongside my good buddy, pal, and cohort down in Jacksonville, Florida, Jim Mernier, along with another new coach in Jacksonville, one that we're familiar with that was from Columbus, Georgia this time. Big waves across the league itself. It is Coach Jason Gibson in new digs, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube. Coach, how you doing, man? First stint so far with the Sharks for these for recent days. I mean, how are things? How have you settled in?
Man, hey, you know me, man. I'm a workaholic. So, I got here Tuesday morning at 10, came straight to the office and hit the road running. So I've been in meetings and meeting people and getting out and trying to set things up and do the things that I do. And it's been a long day today. I'm not gonna lie to you. We had a lot going on. Got a couple deals done for the players and working on just a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot.
Well, to me, and now Jim, I got to talk with you in person, of course, at the press conference. For me, I just kind of seeing it announced like that. It's strange, I think, some people. And I imagine you working 16 years with the Lions and now being over with the Sharks. That's got to be. I assume with an adjustment period of saying I'm going, it's going to be hard to, go and move on from such a dedicated organization like that. Now you're going to a historic one like Jacksonville. You quoted them as the New York Yankees of arena football. I mean, how do you take all that in?
Luckily, like I said, the last 2 days, man, I'm burning it. I said it in the press conference. I think there's a really lot of good coaches in the country. There are a lot, X's and O's, but you're not going to outwork me. Man, there's just no way. And Columbus is special. Very fortunate. I learned a lot. I grew up a lot, and some of it was out of necessity, and that and it set me up for the position I'm in now. To be honest with you, if I had came to the Sharks 12 years ago, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have the ability to do what I do. And that means everything football related. It's not just X's and O's in the field. There's a lot of things involved into building a really respected franchise. I thought we did a good job with that with Columbus, and I did what I needed to do. And there's a really lot of great people, man. A lot of great people. It humbles you because sometimes, when you do a lot of work, you're not sure if people see it or not. When you step away and you get the response that I've got, it's a special place, special people, and it reinforces my faith in people and doing the right thing. And I can't say enough.
Yeah. See what you're saying there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, it's.
I was going to say, Coach, 16 years in Columbus, and now you're here in Jacksonville. And I know you've seen social media. A lot of the Columbus diehard fans are thanking you. They're not going after you and say how you're a traitor. How does that feel for you, that you have a base in Columbus that still appreciates you and still loves what you did to them for the last 16 seasons?
Again, humbling. But when I look at it, you think of all the meetings and all the time and the personal phone calls. I mean, I was actually thinking about that driving down here. That's a lot. It's a lot. I kind of want to, but that's just how I am. That's just how, my dad was a workaholic and probably worked too much. And so, again, I've been burning it since 8:30 this morning, and I'm late for this, and I apologize because I was at another meeting trying to get things done. And so I think people, when they recognize passion and you recognize hard work, and somebody's doing it for the betterment other than themselves, I think people recognize that. I never want accolades. Don't care who gets the credit. I never did. And I think people recognize that. That's why I was able to see, I don't do social media a ton, but you see it. I'm human, and it's It's nice.
It's funny. You mentioned you talk about being late for the meeting. You were at a sales meeting. If you didn't say it, I was going to say it just because of the workaholic thing. So talk about that. Looking ahead, with the Sharks, you're gearing up. You have an organization that, like you've talked, it's a very winning organization. It has a lot of prestige on it. It's in the community in Jacksonville, if we're talking teams that I think have put the bedrock of being a staple in their city. It's one of the flagship organizations in terms of that. I mean, how many more of you people are you going to be meeting up with in, say, the next week? Like what's like the next month or so, next week or so for you? Like, just kind of early preseason 2023.
There's a lot going on. I mean, you got to balance it. And I enjoy doing it, a lot of it. But one of the things that you have here that is just, God, man, you mentioned arena football. If you don't think Jacksonville Sharks, you're not breathing. I mean, that's the allure of the job. That's what makes it a great place, and the resources are just insane. It's just it's insane. But just in the next month, you've got to review all the players, review all the coaches. You got to put a team together. All this other stuff is important. If you don't win, you're going to be gone anyway. So, especially in this market, you got to win, and that's all that matters is winning. But there's a lot. I'm want to do our youth youth football leagues. I want to make sure all the stuff for the players is top of the line. If I'm recruiting a player and he tells me, hey, well, I'm talking to the coach from so-and-so, and I'm talking to the coach from so-and-so, I shouldn't have that problem anymore. It should be, well, the Jacksonville Sharks called. Okay, I'm going there. There's no, oh, well, it's down between you and two other teams. And so what can I do on our end to make it the elite of the elite of the elite, for everything? Like I said in the press conference, I got 2 trophies. So it's not like I can sit there and say, I'm going to bring trophies. I mean, that's expected anyway. But how do I make it from appearances and community and the things you're supposed to do and make the Sharks an even more professional team than it already is? And honestly, how do you take it to a dominant organization, not just dominant on the field? I get that. And some people, oh, we're dominant. And on the field, I get that, but it has to be from top to bottom.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point. And I think more and more, I hope fans, when we try and, me and Jim, I think we try and put on the show, like, it's not like performance on the field is definitely one thing, but when in terms of arena, we want, and you've said this too, you've said this too when you've been on, stability, growth, consistent presence, trying to move on from some of the, I would say, cruxes of the past of what arena's been known for, to establish a league that people can come to and know, hey, it's going to be there. Now, Jacksonville obviously it's been around for over a decade. It's a stable organization as you can get, but like we're saying, like you're saying, you want to be, the sport has to be proving that it's going to grow and be around, and that doesn't all encompass all phases, not just on the field, sales, marketing, promotional items, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the whole show. I mean, obviously, when you come to a game here, they got the award for it. I mean, it's the best of the best. I mean, mascot, dance team, organization, everything they do is won that award. So, but there's still things that can be better. There's some, and from a football standpoint that we can fix and get there. But I want it to be synonymous across the country. When you say, Jack, oh wow, really? Okay, good. And I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Coach, you're talking about offseason acquisitions and looking into the team. Any players on the current roster right now that you've reached out that are expressed interest in staying, or are you allowed to announce who those players would be? Because I know a couple of players we mentioned that you mentioned to me at the meeting that I won't disclose. But any other people you've reached out that have actually said, yeah, I want to come back, or is that still mum's the word?
No, I mean, I'm halfway through the roster. I'm calling the players. Still got a whole bunch more to do. I hope to have it done before Friday. And just I need their input on the good, the bad, the ugly, what's great, what's not great. How can you improve here? I got some really great questions. I'm not going to share with you guys that really put guys on the spot. That's not your typical, hey, what's really good about Jacksonville? Hey, what's really bad? No, it's a little better than that. I'll tell you one of them that I asked some of the guys that I tell them, hey, it's okay. It's fourth down. The game's on the line. And you got to pick one teammate that has your back and is going to make the play to win the game. Who's that guy? And it's interesting hearing all the different, and some names have been repetitive, and that's what I'm looking for. I want to know who the players are looking at on a team like that guy. I can play with that guy. He's a winner. He's a leader. I can count on him. And so it's just little weird questions like that I'm trying to dig down and find so I can make a decent evaluation. Say, okay, let's re-sign that guy. Now, I've got a list already of a couple of guys that I've talked to already that I want to re-sign no matter what. I think they're vital. And so that's what I'm really doing right now from a player standpoint. And then I'm starting to make my board, players that we have, who we going to keep from there. I'm not a big let's go raid everybody else's team kind of coach. So let's be clear about that. If guys call and they want to come down and they want to change their environment or change their team, I'll listen. But I'm not going to sit there and look at somebody else's roster and just say, we're going to take this guy, we're going to take that guy. Coach your guys up, find your own. And I need to find those guys. I need to find the diamond in the roughs. I need to find guys that want to be here for, not just 1 year and run. Because then it's kind of hard to build some kind of continuity. It's kind of hard for the fan base too. So I'll find some winners and I'll find some losers. You just got to keep looking.
Well, I think what a lot of people were fascinated with you going to Jacksonville is, and then we've talked on this show and you bring up that point. Like we've heard you say, recruit someone, I'll coach them here. And then they seem to get shipped off somewhere else. But now with Jacksonville, that was one thing me and Jim were talking. Oh, so now it's I recruit someone, they get here. Wait, why are they leaving? Or do you have to outbid?
Yeah, if I can get you here to Jacksonville and how they run this and the arena and the fans, and that's tell you what, talking to a lot of the players and I ask them what's the number one thing when you talk to another player, like, hey man, you got to come to Jacksonville. I'll tell you what they tell you. They say the environment at that VyStar Arena. That's a really big deal for those players.
Every person we talk to, it's every time.
It's a big sell. Devin Wilson talked about it, I think, on one of y'all's podcasts about, and I think when players play in front of that, where, like you said, where else are you going to go? How do you go anywhere you go from Jacksonville? I see, I'm just trying to be respectful, but anywhere else you go, it's going to be a downgrade. From that game day atmosphere, unfortunately. Sure. And I don't have anything to do with it. I'm a spectator as well. It's something that they've put together and they've done a great job of. So I'm just excited to be a part of it. But from a recruiting standpoint, hopefully it's with other teams. Hey, I'll let you know I'm waiting to hear from Jacksonville. Not, hey, I'll let you know if I decide to come there. I'm trying to build that, to be honest with you, and trying to get players that are from this region. I don't need guys leaving the state of Florida to go play somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Do you,
Coach, I got one. Oh,
go ahead, Jim. Go ahead, Jim.
All right, I was going to say, Curran mentioned it, but I want to ask you this question. We know that we have the red flag challenge night going to happen. Curran's already said it.
Is he really going to have? I need to ask him, Steve. Are you really going to have a red flag night, or is that a joke?
Here we go.
It should be.
Never mind. He doesn't work here anymore.
Now I was going to say that, if that is a theme night, especially the first home game, you should throw your red flag for the hell of it, in the first play. And they're like, why are you doing that?
God, man. Somebody said that today. And I said, you know what? I think I might do it just to do it. Who cares? Hey, let me be clear about something. There's a couple. I can remember two red flags that I threw in Jacksonville. One was in the playoff game, in the championship game, when the fan reached over and grabbed the ball right out of Tristan Purifoy's hands. I won that one because it was the right one. And then this is a good story, and I hope I don't get fined for it. If I do, I'm going to ask Steve Kern and the Sharks to pay for it. I hope he's listening to me. We were on an extra point, and the rule in the league, any arena rule, okay, this is since the beginning of time, is you got to have four guys on the line of scrimmage with their hand down on an extra point. That's not a holding penalty. That's not an opinionated call. That is in the rule book, black and white. You have to have head up, your hand in the dirt, four guys on the D line. So we kicked an extra point, which we missed. So I threw the red flag because at the times Jacksonville only had three guys because they were missing a player on the field. There was only 7 guys on the field. So I challenged it. The official said, "What are you challenging?" I said, "They didn't have 4 guys on the line of scrimmage. That's a formation foul. It's structurally wrong." And so they went to review it. He comes back and says, "Coach, there's no penalty for only having 7 guys on the field." I said, "You're not listening. It's not what I'm challenging. I'm telling you, I know the rules. You have to have 4 guys on the line of scrimmage, period. Everything else is irrelevant. Whether you have 1 DB, doesn't matter." Call stood. I look like an idiot. Sharks fans are harassing me. Gibson, red flag. So, but see, this is the stuff y'all don't hear. After halftime, the official pulls me to the side and says, "I got good news and bad news." I said, "All right, let me have it." He says, "The good news is you were right. The bad news is I hope you don't lose by 1. And I'm like,
no.
"Are you kidding me?" I remember asking, "Could you announce that over the PA that I was right? Because that's all I need. I don't care about the missed extra point. I just want everybody to know that I was right." And that was a good one. So,
oh my God.
That would
I may throw one first play of the game, but honestly, I don't want to burn my timeouts. So I'm really particular about those red flags because timeouts to me are like gold. And it better be a pretty darn good challenge in order for me to risk wasting the timeout.
Well, yeah. And then you also, you want to, with the way the challenges are set up, you want to be able to snowball it if you can. If you get that first, you can get that second, keep on going if possible. So,
and the other thing too is this, you got to understand the situation of the game. If it's second quarter, it's 14-13, whatever. What's the severity of risking the challenge unless it's blatantly obvious? If it's even close, and I've seen this happen, what are you doing throwing your flag? Just keep it in your pocket. Don't take the chance of burning that timeout for something that's not a huge game-changing play that early in the game.
Right.
It's just it's more important to me to save those timeouts and try to double you up at halftime with possessions than it is to waste the timeout and things like that.
This is something I've been wondering to ask. I don't think either of us have gotten to yet with a coach. Camera angles, they're different for every stadium. Do you keep that in mind? Like you check in before, like, what am I going to be able to think about? Or is it just in the moment you're like, all right, I think that's what this is. I'm throwing the flag.
No, I study the camera angles and try to figure out where to make sure crucial plays happen so you can't review it. No, I'm just playing, but that sounded pretty good. I do understand in certain venues where the cameras are at, whether or not to challenge it, because there's certain venues, even Columbus alone doesn't have all the camera angles. So if there's a play on the opposite sideline of the benches, don't challenge it because you're not going to see it. It's just too hard with the angles to get down there. So, that's situational football, so I get it. When you play it, other arenas that have, 1,800 camera angles, then it changes things.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Coach, I'm going to ask you one serious question. Not really, not serious. I can't do it. It's too early. It's only 6 months before this even starts. How we as podcasters and other people pump up leagues, pump up games. What is your desirable first game? Is it playing Columbus week 1, or is it a couple weeks later to let the tension build to get to that game? Like, I've asked people, it's like, man, that'd be an epic week 1. And for myself, I'm like, no, you want that thing to build as long as possible because it's the rivalry of the NAL. Now that you've gone be on both sides of it, I want to know your opinion about, do you want to get them out of the way, or you want to have that build of suspense and have them in midway through the season or later in the year?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. I mean, I get it from a media standpoint. That's good. And that's good. Hey, whatever's good for the league, whatever gets us the most publicity, whatever gets us the most views, the most people at the game, I'm all for.
The storyline.
That's what it is. If that's what it works for it, then let's do that. It doesn't matter to me who we play, road, home. That first game, the pressure's all on me. It doesn't matter if we're on the road or if we're at home, if we're playing Columbus or not Columbus. It's pressure to win. You better win. You can't come out taking L, because, even though you could finish, it's like, I think the year the Sharks won the championship, they started out that home loss against New York, and everybody jumped off the bandwagon. They broke legs and all kinds of stuff. And then, of course, they ran every single game and won the championship.
Vividly remember that game. Still angry about that. It's like, how would you lose to that team?
Yeah. So, there's tremendous pressure on the first game just to win, not just who we play. That doesn't mean anything.
Didn't you lose by 6 in that championship game? What's 1 point?
Yeah.
I gotta move the trophy.
He said, I got to move the trophy.
Special appearance by Steve Kern, the owner of the Jacksonville.
He's walking past me like one of the Dave Chappelle things, the robot guy in the back.
He had to have purposely done that.
Steve, you got to show me how to scan these.
No, we'll just send it. Just look at it. We'll send it.
Okay.
We'll
working. Yeah, I mean, he's slave
there you go.
driver, man. It's 6 o'clock at night. I gotta,
Hey, the owner's still here, so I don't want to hear about it.
You're just proving to the crowd it's the workaholic mentality right now.
Oh, I get it done, man. I tell you what, so I enjoy that. It's fun to work your butt off and have other people around you with the same goal, working their butts off. So it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't care who play. I'm got pressure, pressure to win.
Jason, you get the luxury here of being the first coach we get to ask about this. The National Arena League officially announced that rebound nets are coming back. It's been for us three, it's been in talks for a while. It's just that we've been waiting to kind of have that put out there and say we're a full go.
Yeah.
For you as a coach, I mean, the strategy for the nets, how can you elaborate on that for viewers or maybe first time people that are new to the game? They're like, oh, what are these? What's so special about these that changes it?
Changes a lot of things. Well, the scores are going to go up for sure. Having big guys that can run, because now you look at a kickoff team, you miss it off the net, and you've got 4 skilled guys and 3 linemen running down the field. That helps. If you got an outstanding kicker who knows how to put that ball, I'd say the hardest spot, when you kick that ball and it hits at that bar, right at the crest of the bar in the net, it takes a real weird bounce. I used to return those, and it's hard. All of a sudden as a player, you got your back turned looking off the wall. So that player, in the past, I've had guys call me that, hey, I'm a great specialist. I'm a return guy. He could be a tweener receiver, maybe a tweener DB, kind of an average guy. But all of a sudden, let's say it's a 60-60 football game. So that's 6, 7, that's what, 9 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 56, 7 or 8 touchdowns plus kickoff, either one of the halves. So you're looking at 9 kickoffs. You got an explosive guy back there that can do damage on the kickoff return. So let's say he gets 9 chances at kickoffs and 2 will miss field goals. That's 11 chances. That's as good as getting 11 targets as a receiver. A lot of receivers don't even get 11 targets during the game. Right. So now you got a guy putting the ball in the hands of a guy that's going to touch it anywhere between 8 to 11 times throughout the game, and he scores, let's say 2. It's 14 points, man, just like that. And so that guy becomes way more valuable. All of a sudden, a guy like Rashad Khalid from San Antonio, holy cow. You don't want to let him catch it off. And that Darian Townsend out of Columbus, you let some those types of guys, you put it in their hands that many times. So now all of a sudden, he's got 11 opportunities to catch it off net, 10 to 12 opportunities to catch it during the game. That's a 7-8 touchdown game. And the type of players looking for change. I like it. I love it.
It's good. I'm glad you brought up bar ball. That's a very feared term in arena, or at least I'm just saying. You hear, I talk with people. You hear that phrase, and people go, "Oh yeah, yeah." I definitely, that scares me if it gets that low or if it hits the side.
You guys are genius. You just gave me an idea. I'm going to go out and find an iron works or some kind of steel mill for a sponsorship, and every time it clangs off that iron, well, actually, I think it's going to be PCP pipe. I'm not sure what they're going to make. Whatever they make it of, I don't care. I'll find that company. So every time it hits it, brought to you by. That'd be pretty good.
Ooh, bar ball brought to you by someone in this local area.
Right.
You just hope in that instance that it doesn't land as a fumble, and then you're putting that on the screen.
I see Jim's mind burning.
I'm thinking of a steel company in Jacksonville.
Let's burn it up.
I don't know one. That's the problem.
You two, and now the third in the background. We'll get in the area and we'll collaborate on. I know very well. You'll figure it out.
No, I don't know. Seriously, I don't know.
Off the iron on the nets.
See,
Steve's like, whatever.
Sounds good.
Oh, well.
So, Jim?
Yeah.
Someone will get it right.
We'll figure it out.
Oh man,
That's a trivia quiz. I should know the steel company in town, but no, I don't. But yeah.
I wouldn't have a clue. I've never been to Jacksonville, Florida, so
You will be.
oh, I will be. I'll be there sometime. It's gonna happen.
You usually go to the championship game, don't you?
That's my first one this year.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been trying to go to more next year.
Well, next year in Jacksonville.
That's what I was getting at. I was waiting for the very subtle hint, but I'm glad you picked up on it, Jim.
Yeah, I miss hosting championship games. That's what we do here. Host championship games. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Coach, before we head out, by the way, thanks for tuning in and taking the time. Glad we get to talk to you, and again, congrats on the new position. Any final words for at least folks in the Sharks, fans of the team themselves that you haven't said already?
Yeah, I mean, I've said a lot. It's just excited to be there, man. Excited. I met a lot of good people in 2 days. It's exhausting, and it's just 2 days in. So, a lot of pressure. Pressure's expected. That's why you take the job. You want to be at the best place with the best resources and the best opportunity. And with that comes tremendous pressure and tremendous expectations. And that's a good thing. I mean, if you're not a competitor, I mean, what are you doing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's exciting, man.
Right. And we're excited for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Coach, I want to say welcome to Jacksonville. You got my number, so if you need any help or assistance, just text me and I can send you the right direction. Most likely Kerwin will tell you where to go, but if he doesn't, just give me a call. I'll tell you where to go. I do work for the city, so I do have, assets a little bit, kind of. Not really, but just give me a call if you get.
We'll catch up and figure that out, I promise.
Jim will tell you, cut your grass.
Yes. Please do, people. Please do.
Good deal, man. Good deal.
Folks, Jason Gibson of the Jacksonville Sharks tuning in. Thanks again to Jason here for joining us on the show. And again, we as Inside the Walls, give congrats to him on his new position. Be sure to check out and look into season tickets for the Jacksonville Sharks as well as the rest of the NAL teams. We should have that hopefully sooner rather than later. We'll be getting a bunch of things out league-wide this season. A lot of things ahead that are very exciting for the NAL. Is all I can tell you with this. For Coach Gibson, for my co-host Jim Renee, I'm Zach Conlon saying so long. Thanks for tuning in as always. More off-season content ahead as we gear up for what should be arguably the most exciting NAL season to date coming in 2023. Stay tuned, everyone.
Covering all your favorite parts of the 50-yard fight. This is the Inside the Walls podcast with Zach Kyleman and Jim Bernier.